Hello, my name is Thomas Washington. I'm a junior in the AIM program covering International Materials, and today I'll be covering Applied Materials, Inc., ticker AMAT. Applied Materials, Inc. is a world leader in supplying equipment, services, and software necessary for the manufacture of semiconductor chips around the world. Applied currently produces $18.2 billion in annual revenue, with 66% of this coming from its semiconductor systems segment, 24% coming from Applied Global Services, and just over 9% coming from display and adjacent markets. Applied Materials revenues come from China, Taiwan, South Korea, and the US. I recommend Applied Materials, Inc. be added to the AIM fund for a few reasons. 1. Applied Materials' diverse offering of products and services in combination with its highly scalable model position it ahead of competitors to take advantage of the market conditions brought about by the current semiconductor shortage. Applied invested $2.2 billion in research and development in 2020 and currently holds over 14,300 patents. Applied has a diverse customer base with 110 locations across 19 different countries. Secondly, Applied has recently made significant investments to increase market share from 0.5% from 2019 to 2020, helping to increase revenues 26% year over year. In addition, management has confidently stated that it expects revenues to grow by 50% in 2021. Applied's first driver is the current shortage of semiconductors as a delayed result of the COVID-19 pandemic. At the beginning of the pandemic, auto manufacturers halted microchip orders for production in order to avoid a surplus in supply when demand for new cars dipped. The demand for microchips and personal technology significantly increased during the pandemic, so once auto manufacturers began to order microchips for production, there was a severe shortage, causing a bottleneck in production across industries. The halt in production has forced legislators to take action in mitigating the shortage, resulting in the CHIPS for America Act, a bill brought to Congress in order to bolster microchip production through offering tax credits for equipment investment and grants for service contracts and research and development. The increase in trailing edge microchips in Applied Materials product mix is the second driver of growth. This phenomenon is being spurred by the increased presence of the Internet of Things in daily technology. The Internet of Things describes a network of physical objects able to communicate with each other via the Internet. While the Internet of Things is leading edge, it does not rely on leading edge microchips to function. Instead, it relies on trailing edge microchips. Trailing edge chips currently account for 30% of Applied's revenues and boast the highest margin of any of Applied's products. This is because the production process for these chips has already been developed and streamlined and requires no further investment. The increase in trailing edge chips in the product mix will significantly impact Applied Materials margins and drive growth. The third driver of growth is the increase in demand of Applied's Global Services segment. Applied's Service segment is its second largest segment, producing 24% of total revenue. More importantly, this segment has the highest profit margin with 28% and is the fastest growing of Applied's three segments. President Biden's order to mitigate the semiconductor shortage illustrate that this would be done by providing funds to be used in examination and streamlining of semiconductor supply chain, as well as making significant investments in the automation of production. As a leader in semiconductor-related services, specializing in contracts regarding both supply chain streamlining and automation of the production process, Applied Materials is uniquely positioned to take advantage of the federally funded push to mitigate the semiconductor bottleneck. In order to reach an intrinsic value for Applied Materials, a 7-year DCF model was constructed, using a terminal growth rate of 2% and a WACC of 7.6%. An intrinsic value of $156.38 was reached. A price-to-sales multiple valuation was calculated using 2020 total sales and a blended average price-to-sales multiple of 22.025, which resulted in an intrinsic value of $162.13. An EV to EBITDA multiple valuation was calculated using 2020 total sales and a blended EV to EBITDA multiple of 20.49, resulting in an intrinsic value of $99.48. By weighing the three models 20, 20, and 60, a price target of $123.42 was reached, resulting in an 8.06 potential upside. Applied's dividend yield is 0.08%. Risks to Applied Materials growth include maintenance of market share, the cyclical nature of the semiconductor industry, and competition with incumbent firms. To maintain its market share, Applied must compete successfully in various segments with numerous firms that only specialize in their respective submarkets. Therefore, Applied may not have the best-of-breed product in every segment in which it competes. Applied Materials is exposed to the cyclical semiconductor industry, which means that financial results may fluctuate considerably. The microchip equipment business is very competitive among incumbents, with incumbent competitors such as Tokyo Electron, Lam Research, and KLA-Tencor all boasting best-of-class tools in certain subsegments. Gary Dickerson has been the president of Applied Materials, Inc. for 9 years and was named the CEO and a member of the board of directors in 2013. Before his time at Applied, Dickerson was the CEO of Varian Semiconductor Equipment Associates for 7 years. Gino Adagio is currently the Senior Vice President of Semiconductor Global Operations and Corporate Quality. Before his time at Applied Materials, Gino was President and CEO of Ultra Clean Technology, a supplier of critical subsystems for the semiconductor capital equipment operating in China, Singapore, and the U.S.